Okay, we're really excited today because I've probably the most exciting interview I've done for around 20 years since I last met this man. Me and David Coles, we go back around 20 years. I met David early on in his Southampton career as goalkeeping coach down there, and I went and watched David coach. I would say it's 20 years ago, and he's going to join us today. And I reckon we're going to have one of the best Q&As we've had for a while. David's got so much knowledge on the game. So I'm looking forward to David joining. Once he joins us, I'm going to invite him in, and then we can start our Q&A. Asmir will probably join us at some stage as well. Dave Sanderson, our MD here at AB1GK, he will definitely join us as well. So there'll be a good few here. David is here and he's ready to talk. David Coles. Just waiting for the connection now.
Hello, Martin.
David, how you doing?
I'm okay. You?
Yeah, I'm delighted that you've joined us today. I've been looking forward to this. I'm quite nervous, actually.
I haven't seen you for 20 odd years.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a long time ago. So much has happened in your career as well, and there's so much to touch upon. Loving looking at the shirts in the background, by the way. Brilliant.
I've got a few, yeah. It's quite
Simon Moore's just joined us as well. Simon, good to have you watching. Hope you're well, buddy. We mentioned Simon yesterday, didn't we, when we had a call yesterday?
Yes, we did. Yeah, Simon, Stuart, yeah. Kids that I've had in the past, really.
Yeah, I'm so pleased to have you on. I'm going to get everyone to join in and ask questions as well. But I just want to, I want to kick off and start talking about your career in football and how it's all come about, really. You're one of the most respected goalkeeping coaches in Britain. There's no question about that. And your name is, over the last 20 years, your name has constantly come up with goalkeepers I've spoken to, and obviously watched all the clubs you've been at. And I was a Southampton fan, so I studied what you guys were doing at that time.
Wow.
So let's talk about the start, David.
The start. What the obsession from an early age, or?
Yeah. How did you fall upon goalkeeping?
I fell in love with a goalkeeper called Bob Wilson, Joe Corrigan, the late Peter Bonetti, Ray Clements, Peter Shilton. So I was around in that era. So sort of the 60s. I was born in 64. I started playing in goal when I was 5. Same as what the boys are doing now, banging the ball up against the wall, just enjoying life, really. Went to school in London, went through the ranks. Luckily, got my break. I played for a non-league club. Funny enough, we talked about it the other day, Cobham. A lot of scouts came down, Arsenal, Aston Villa. I ended up joining Birmingham City.
Yeah.
Went through the ranks there. Didn't quite work out. Didn't get my first team debut. And then I was loaned to a club up in North Mansfield Town and got my break, really. Played in the league for Mansfield. Went on from there and amassed something like 300 sort of league games, and then non-league games. Geez, there must be thousands. So coaching career took off in the sort of 97. In between that, I played part-time football. So what happened is I ended up working for a school in Berkshire County Council, a school called Sindlesham School. It's not there anymore. I was a residential social worker, so I worked with kids with EBD. So that was a good learning experience. I had a guy there who was in the PE department. He invited me into the PE department. And basically I went from there to do all my badges with Eric Steele, Martin Thomas, Tony Parks. So I got a great education there, but was lucky enough to work with people like Joe Corrigan, Ray Clements, obviously.
Ray Clements. Well,
yeah, Ray Clements
was
involved at the time. So I got a fantastic education. And from there, really, I went into coaching at, obviously, Saints. I was invited in by them, took a part-time role with their academy, still carried on with the schoolwork, and I was also still playing, which was quite a hectic week, shall we say.
Yeah, really demanding.
Yeah, but even today, Martin, I still miss playing. And there's days when I watch I watch a lot of football, and I still think that I wished I could still play, but as age catches up, you realise you can't do it anymore. So I say, yeah, it's just been an amazing journey, really. So 97. Football as well, back to Wolves as well. So he had a fantastic career, fantastic person, great person. I had a good relationship with him. He enjoyed what I did, and I enjoyed what he did. So it was complimentary both ways, really.
I remember coming down to the training ground around, it would have been around 20 years ago when we started out in the game, really, when I sort of come into the sports industry and I have this obsession with goalkeeper gloves and goalkeeping.
Come on, Mark. Tell everyone about you sponsoring our goalkeeping school.
Yeah, we did. We did the goalkeeping schools, didn't we? Back on the Isle of Wight. Yeah. Keith Granger and yourself come over, and that's how I kind of like started to know about yourself. And then I was just desperate. It was something, I had this bee in my bonnet that I wanted to see you coaching. And I remember coming over to the training ground at Staplewood at Southampton, and I watched the session you put on, and it was unbelievable. It was brilliant. And the feedback I got straight away. Anthony Amy was there at the time, and the session was unbelievable. And I remember Anthony Amy saying afterwards, "This guy is so much passion for goalkeeping." He said no session was the same, and you developed that guy into an incredible goalkeeper, because you look at the time he was there. He was phenomenal for Southampton, wasn't he, Anthony Amy?
Yeah, I think it's a two-way thing. I think he was a phenomenal goalkeeper before I got him. He played up at Rangers. He played for one of the clubs that I played for in Finland, HJK. So I knew a little bit about him from there. But also for Hearts, he was. I mean, Gordon Strachan sent me about 6 or 7 times to watch him.
Did he?
Yeah. I was up most weekends after. I mean, Hearts played on a Sunday, so most of my time was spent Saturday with the first team at Southampton, and then getting on a plane at Southampton Airport and up to Edinburgh, really. But he was a fantastic goalkeeper before I even met him. But he obviously made his name in the Premier League and playing for Southampton. He wasn't. I wouldn't say he was an orthodox goalkeeper. He was very unorthodox at times, as we've talked about. Made some unbelievable saves, incredible saves that you probably, I can remember 5 or 6 of them. And,
do you remember the Arsenal game when he made the triple save with Vieira?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And then afterwards, he actually came off the field and said to me, "I should have come for the cross, shouldn't I?" So, I think it was Michael Svensson who cleared it for him eventually.
He was a good defender, wasn't he, Marcus Svensson? The bad injury, didn't he? Really bad injury, I remember. But he was a phenomenal defender. I remember that time. Was that under Gordon Strachan as manager? Yeah. Talk to me about Gordon Strachan. I'm intrigued about him as a manager.
What a manager. Fantastic person. For a manager, I mean, he was very astute. He knew everything that was going on. He knew everything the players got up to. I could tell you a few stories in terms of him turning up at nightclubs with Leslie, his wife, and the lads in the corner having a beer, and just turning around and saying to them, "Does anyone want a drink?" And all the lads just went, "No, Gaffer, we're going to go now." Off they went.
That's brilliant.
So, but he just knew everything. He knew everything. If you weren't happy, he's a bit like Harry. Harry would detect the same. Experienced managers, really, that I've worked for. But if there was something bothering you, they'd call you in the office. I had it with Harry. And I've had it with Gordon. Gordon called me in the office a couple of times and just said to me, "Everything okay? How the goalkeeper's doing?" He always wanted to know what was going on around the training ground. Yeah. On the field, he was his management skills were second to none. He was very organised, very methodic in his work, very articulate. So he had some good methods. Monday was always a work day, unless we had a game on a Tuesday, obviously. And he always wanted the goalkeepers involved. So that sort of collaboration between the goalkeepers, outfield players was very, very, very healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just, for me, he's probably one of the best I've worked with.
Turned Southampton around, didn't he, when he came in at that time, because they were in dire straits when he came in, really, really
Yeah, he
struggling.
certainly did. Yeah, I remember him coming in, and but his methods around players, his management skills around players, and how he got them to perform was unbelievable. I've seen him blast into people on a Saturday, and on the Tuesday night they're playing out their skin for him. So we had a good, there was a good feel around the club. So
I'm looking at the goalkeeping jersey in the background, that orange jersey. Is that an Anthony Amy jersey?
I've got. Do you want me to show you?
Yeah, anything you can show us would be fantastic. Yeah,
so,
let's have a look.
That's an Amy one.
That's brilliant. Yeah, remember that jersey well.
And I'm going to upset Asmir now, because there's his gloves.
Yeah, I remember the glove. Dave Sanderson was involved in that glove.
And then I've got David James's shirt. I won't read you the message. I'll tell you about it in a minute. And then obviously his gloves. He has to have a bigger one because he was size 10, 11. So
yeah, big hands.
And then I've got one ultimate shirt that you'll probably want after I show you. So I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. FA Cup final. I was going to mention the FA Cup final, getting Millennium Stadium, wasn't it? Under the roof. I remember going to it.
I've got a special one here that Asmir remembers.
That's awesome.
So, and obviously Paul Jones at the end. I won't forget Jonah, because he was part of me getting my first break, really. So
yeah. Oh, they're brilliant. They're brilliant jerseys. Thank you for showing us.
No, I'm privileged to work with those guys.
Brilliant goalkeepers, but you've had a massive impact on all of their careers, and you talk. I saw quotes from Anthony Amy at the time, and he always spoke so highly of you. I've seen that. I remember the book you did. The book was brilliant. I've still got one somewhere. I need to find it out, but I remember the book. And there was a DVD follow-up. Am I correct?
There was, yeah. And I did the book in 2003, I think. Gordon Strachan used to call it the pamphlet. But he did form it for me, so that was
he did.
Yeah.
He did,
yeah. And then I did the DVD, and I worked with Simon Smith on a couple of DVDs, collaborations and stuff like that in the early sort of 90s. So Simon's at Newcastle now.
Yeah.
But, going back to Anthony, I've had some special relationships with goalkeepers, really, really good, and Anti's sort of one of them that we just hit it off. I don't know what it was. Whether it was the Finland thing, or we just enjoyed each other's company. He would, if I upset him in training, I'd come home with a night and find my wife Anne on the phone to him. So,
that's brilliant.
Yeah. If I needed that extra bit more from training, I came home one night and she was at the door with a phone on her ear roll, and I said to her, "Who's that?" So she said, "It's Anthony." She said, "He's really upset that you've upset him today." So I said, I just asked him for a bit more harder work. That was it. So really simple. So he said, she said, "You've upset him. You need to speak to him." So I had to speak to him. And that was the sort of relationship we had. We was, most people would say at Southampton we were tied at the hip, and we probably were, because I had the passion. He had the passion for goalkeeping. He loved everything that we did in terms of off the field, on the field, in terms of analysing, planning sessions, looking at his clips. I put a couple of videos together for him for sort of motivation, so like psychological.
Yeah.
So before the game, he would have something that he could, for 2 or 3 minutes before, go into that and get focused. But he was always at the ground very, very early, so I was too, because I used to work with the kids in the morning, if you remember. The kids' games used to kick off at 11, so I'd gun warm them up and then shoot down to St Mary's or the Dell when I first started.
What a lovely place that was. I miss it. I still miss it now going there, the Dell. Yeah, there was
Atmosphere, wasn't it? Yeah.
something special about that place.
Yes, agreed, agreed.
Yeah, something real special. Talking about Anthony Amy, in his career, it just went on and on, and you went well. Obviously, you went through to, played that FA Cup final. Talk to me. You've been to two FA Cup finals.
Three.
Obviously, three.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So the one with Southampton was obviously the first one.
Yeah. That was the Millennium.
Tough,
that was
tough game,
one.
wasn't it? Yeah,
Sorry?
tough game, wasn't it? I remember it just
Yeah,
1-0 Arsenal.
That's it. Yeah, 1-0 Arsenal. Anthony was in action in the first, I think it was the first 45 seconds of the game, if you remember. Terry already broke through and he made a save. He came out unblocked. And then, obviously, I had two goalkeepers playing that game. Paul Jones come on for... Anthony went off with his calf. He'd had a tight calf all week. He played the game. And Paul Jones come on. So, that's a good quiz question, really, if you think about it. Which is the goalkeepers be on the losing side, but still keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, that is really... that's interesting. I can't remember the change of goalkeeper. Just looking back on it now. Your memory is unbelievable. Like, when I spoke to you yesterday, your memory of situations and people was incredible. I remember back at the time when I met you 20 years ago, you used to after a session you used to record what happened during the day, things you wanted to improve on. What were you doing, David? Talk to me a bit more about sort of the information that you were recording.
Really, probably for me, really, my session. So obviously, I used to plan 2 weeks in advance, so 2 weekly. So look at the games, plan around the games, what might happen if we had replays and stuff like that. And then I would put my sessions together. So on a Sunday afternoon, just spend the day really putting stuff together. But what I would do after that is I would record everything. So being a social worker at a residential school, it helped me really to sort of keep notes, because we had to keep notes in them days, obviously. So I kept notes on the goalkeepers, so I would just have a diary full of stuff on the Amy, Paul Jones, Neil Moss, what they did well in the session, what they didn't do quite well, what they could have done better, and then I'd question and answer them the next day. So
did you?
Yeah, without them really sort of knowing, I would go to them and just say to them, yesterday, what do you think of the session? What could you have done better? What could you have improved on? How do you feel today? I mean, that's the first thing. Watching people's demeanours and watching them walk down in the morning really plans your session, because certain things about it's looking for the characteristics, but it's also looking for signs and symptoms. I call it signs and symptoms is the easiest way. I remember Niemi coming into the training ground once, and Gordon Strachan said something's not right with him, and he had such a bad session with the manager. Yeah. And I said to him, "What's wrong, Nancy?" And he said to me, "Listen, Coles," he said, my boy's been up all night, so Matthias, he'd been up all night, and he said, I haven't really slept." So I went back to Gordon. I shouldn't say Gordon, I always call him a gaffer. Went back to gaffer, and I just said to him, "Listen, this is the story." He said, "Right, give him 2 days off." Gave him 2 days off. He come in right as rain. A Thursday, Friday trained, and we played Saturday. We won 1-0, and he was outstanding. So it's knowing what it's not also on the field; it's off the field as well. It's knowing your clients and what they feel and what they don't feel. Your number one's always happy because he's playing. Your number two might feel it because he's not playing. Your number three is out of the system completely and playing sometimes 23s or reserve games at that time. So,
are they hard to motivate, the number threes?
No. Your number threes. It's funny because I was asked this question a couple of weeks ago. In my career of coaching, my number three has overtaken my number two. So, go to Asmir. Asmir overtook Jamie Ashdown at the time. Paul Smith overtook. So my number three has always been the one that's come through. Max O'Leary is another example at Bristol City. He's come through as well. So the number threes are the ones that are still playing. The number two is the one to worry about because he doesn't do an awful lot. He sits on the bench. Sometimes he'll get a game. They're frightened if he gets injured, and then if he goes on, sometimes he's not match.
Doesn't want to make a mistake, and
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. So it's a chicken and egg situation. You've got to manage them all, and you have to manage them all differently, if that makes sense. So my idea of my diaries was probably from the days as a social worker. So keeping notes on the goalkeepers, trying to find out what they're about. It's like even now working from England, for England, going in and finding out what those goalkeepers are about. So the Louis Moldens, the James Traffords, they've all got different interests off the field. Yeah. So it's tapping into that resource as well, really, finding out what they're about. I think that for me is something that I need to do as a goalkeeping coach. As much as I'm their coach, I'm also their friend. I'm also sort of like a father figure, I suppose.
You spend so much time with them, I guess. You're with them. It's such a close relationship, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've always done the on the grass, off the grass. So on the grass, it's training. Off the grass, it might be analytical work. It might be sitting down and having a coffee with them, or it might be absolutely wiping them out in the gym. So it all depends, but you really, you do. You just get to know them inside out, and if they've got a problem, sometimes you're the first tag that they come to. So it's being prepared for everything, really. So the idea of the diary was really to check on everything. It's going into the four corners again: technical, tactical, social, psychological, physical, really, and putting a bit about them, how they feel, what they could have done better. And really, that helped me sort of build a relationship. I think the relationship between goalkeeping coach and goalkeepers is so important.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that, because all the goalkeepers that I've spoken to, sort of with the Q&As on Instagram via AB1GK the last few weeks, every keeper I've spoken to spoke about the coach and how important the coaches are. And as Mr. Same, it would always refer back to you, his early times with you. And you're such an important part of their career, and you can really develop a goalkeeper, I guess, yourself. For you, out of all the goalkeepers you've worked with and developed the most, who you had the most pride? Is there anyone that stands out? Or it's a hard question, actually, because is there anyone that stands out with like real pride for you that it's gone to a level that you never anticipated?
Tough
question, sorry.
It is a tough question. I mean, I've worked with some really tremendous goalkeepers: David James, Antti, Paul Jones, Casey Keller. We took on loan, if you remember. So I had a couple of months with him. He was an incredible goalkeeper.
Did you work with Rob Green at West Ham as well?
Yes, I worked with Rob at West Ham. So Rob I had for a season. Even at Bristol, you know, the Frankie Fieldings, the Nicky Myampas, the Max O'Learys, the Jojo Walcotts, they're all going to come through. I mean, the two young lads I've just mentioned there. I think probably Asmir for me, succeeded without being detrimental to the others, succeeded my expectations. I always knew there was something there, because when I was at Portsmouth, Harry took me in, and he said, we've got goalkeepers here. We've got one out in Belgium. So I said, okay. So he said, I want you to have a look at him. So I said, do you want me to fly out to Belgium to watch him? He said, no. He said, well, bring him back. You have a look. You tell me what you think. And at the time, there was Jamie Ashton, Dean Kiley, we took from Charlton. Absolute steal, by the way, him. Absolute steal.
Dean.
Yeah, £250,000 is the best bargain I've ever.
He was phenomenal for you as well, wasn't he?
At Portsmouth, listen, he was real. He was part of that 205 staying up season, and he was an integral part as well. He made saves that kept us in games, and his distribution off his left foot. I mean, they all do this sidewinder now, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching Pepe Reina do it so well.
Yeah.
But going back to Dean Kiley, that left-footed half volley used to pick people out on the sixpence. It was just unbelievable. But we got Asmir back for a week, and he came in and trained. And he was gangly. He was 6'5". He was unorthodox. really good shot stopper, obviously because of reach and everything. And I worked with Dean Kiley. Dean Kiley come back with me in the afternoons, and we put some hours in with him. And Harry asked me at the end of the week, he just said to me, what do you want to do with him? I said, listen, get him back in the country, get him back now. Yeah. Because he just impressed me immensely. He was just a sponge for knowledge. He wouldn't leave me alone in terms of, he wanted to know more, he wanted to know how he was doing, can he look at the videos that we did on him, everything. He was just... did
he have he had a real hunger to be a professional, did he?
Hunger, desire, right to be a number one, wanted to be a number one. I mean, pre-season with him and David James was just something else. Obviously, Jamo come 2006-07 season. So, I mean, Asmir was an unbelievable practices from Eric Steele and the likes of Martin Thomas and on playing out and playing through. So, yeah.
David, I'm quite interested about we're talking about Portsmouth and you were at Southampton and you obviously go to Portsmouth, you know, the South Coast rivalry is huge. How did it all come about? I'm really intrigued to know what happened. How obviously Southampton got relegated and Harry and Southampton parted ways.
Yeah.
At what stage did you go to Portsmouth?
Probably, I mean, this is an unbelievable story. Obviously, new manager comes in, clean sweep, staff go, accept that, no problem. Apart from Rupert Lowe was the chairman at the time, he kept asking me, he was putting me on gardening leave, and I kept trying to explain to him there was nothing wrong with my garden. If I show you my garden, it's immaculate. So he wouldn't have that. But anyway.
What period?
It was for a month. You talk about doors closing and others opening. I got off the plane at Heathrow. I'd come back from Abu Dhabi, and Guy Whittingham was the manager at Portsmouth at the time. He rang me and said to me, "You're back, ain't you?" So I said, "Yes." I said, "How do you know?" So he said, "Someone's told me. I want you to come into Portsmouth and work with the goalkeepers," which at the time was Phil Smith and Trevor Carson. So I did. Worked there for a month, and then again, man. Yeah, Ronaldo. Don't you remember the free kick?
Vaguely. Your memory is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he just buried it in the top corner. I looked at David James when he came off. He just went to me. I didn't see it. It went in so quick. I didn't see it. Oh. Yeah. And then I said, right, if we fit that in there, then I can do this, X, Y, and Z. You go across, come back to me, we'll do your bit. And 9 times out of 10, he'd come back to me saying, "I'm tired, Colsey, I need to go in." So I think sometimes it was reverse psychology by me and good psychology by him. Listen, he wanted to get involved in everything in terms of session planning. He loved challenges. So it might be something simple. It might be a challenge with the players. So one of his favourite practices was we'd have 2 goalkeepers on the outside serving balls in with the players, and they had to score goals with 2 touches, but you had to drill the balls at them. So the players took on the challenge, and he would really, really get up for it. So they had three shots each, and he would challenge them. Other challenges were in the gym. He didn't like to be beaten in the gym in terms of, so I had to come up with different ways that I was going to do press ups, or whether I was going to do some core work with him and challenge. But yeah, he was probably my biggest challenge, but he was also he was my probably biggest critic. So I had to make sure. So he kept me on my toes, put it that way.
Yeah. At the time, Asmir, he would have been fairly young. How old was Asmir? Sort of.
Asmir would have been ooh, 18, 19, just turning 19.
There's an interesting story you said to me. That'd be good to share with everyone about his height and that growth spurt you spoke about.
Yeah,
Could you talk about that?
we went obviously 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 really I think is a cut-off point. I mean, speaking to, listen, I'm not a specialist in that field, but 21 usually is a cut-off point where kids sort of stop growing, and
Yeah.
then we came back pre-season, and Harry was in charge, to be fair, and he said what's going on with Asmir? He said he's not been himself, and I said, don't know, Gaffer. I said, I'll have a chat with him. So John Dazelle was the sports scientist. He said, I know why. And I went, go on then. So he said, he's grown 2 inches over the summer.
Jeez.
So, 2 inches. He went 6'7" over the summer.
Wow.
That photo that we've put on for this, he absolutely dwarfs me. He's always dwarfed me. He grew another 2 inches. So again, you talk about stripping back and going back, because once you grow, obviously everything changes again. So it was like a couple of months of getting him back to being more productive, coordination, hand and eye, stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's so strange at such a sort of like late age to kind of grow, isn't it? Really?
yeah,
They just don't see it.
yeah, it was amazing, but he did, and obviously from then on, that was it for him. He's I mean, you can imagine Jamie Ashdown, David James, and him absolutely dwarfed.
Was it really competitive? Was it competitive sessions?
Yes, yeah, very much so. And even with Dean Kiley was there for a short space of time with David, and I mean, Dino was very, very technically sound. So his work was more sort of profound, and it was just incredible to watch. As a goalkeeping coach, you put on sessions, but the end product was the challenges in terms of competition between all 4 of them was immense.
Yeah, was it competitive off the field as well?
I mentioned it the other day, didn't I? The table tennis at Portsmouth Football was unbelievable, the competition. Being at the school that I was at, I obviously went into the PE department, and I got a few qualifications. One of them was table tennis. So I'm not a bad table tennis player. I wouldn't say I'm outstanding, but I'm not bad.
I heard you're good.
So Asmir's daily routine was, Colsey, let's play table tennis. So we had the table and we'd play. If I beat him, he would chase me around the car park to go back on the table again to play him again. He just didn't like losing. Couldn't stand losing. So there were some challenges. Tennis as well. Tennis is a big one of Asmir's. David James was he's built like a man mountain. So in the gym, anything I could chip away at him on and make him stronger would obviously improve him. But again, it had to be a challenge. So I do silly things. I do put 2 footballs, one on top of the other one, and do press ups and challenging to see how many he could do, and obviously the balance, the coordination, Swiss balls, so press up on Swiss balls, anything to make it awkward for him. So but that was his thing. So yeah, it made him better, it made him stronger. Same with the grass stuff. In terms of challenges every day, it was he would challenge me to put on a session that was going to make him a better goalkeeper. That's the way that I looked at it. So
you must be extremely proud of him, Asmir. You know, to go from where he did and to now be playing at one of the biggest clubs in Europe, in AC Milan.
Barcelona, Real Madrid, AC Milan, Chelsea. You know, he's been to some real big clubs. So listen, I'm proud of everyone I've worked with, right down to the academy kids that have come through the system at Southampton, Portsmouth, you know, so there's been so many. Even Simon Moore, you know, Simon's obviously listening. Simon, nice to see you're on listening. You know, he started at Southampton, went away, he had his non-league career, and then he bounced back. So Yeah,
He's done really well.
Yeah, of course he has. Stuart was a young kid in the academy when I was at Portsmouth, coming through under. He was there with John Keeley, so John Keeley is still there now. Yeah, I mean, there's so many that have come through. And listen, I'm just proud to be a part of. I've done something, or I've achieved something with them, and given careers, because not all goalkeepers are going to make it. They're not going to make it at the top end, but if you give them a chance where they're going to make a decent living, and they're going to, they're going to enjoy their life playing football. Because let's be honest, playing football is fun. When I started out at 5, it was serious. It was fun. Sorry, it wasn't serious fun. It was fun. And then when you start getting paid for it, it becomes serious fun. But it's, for me, I've never taken the fun out of playing in goal. I go in every day with a smile on my face. I enjoy it. I love being around the lads. I love being around the goalkeepers. They've kept me young, apart from my hair going.
A few of them have gone on to be coaches as well, haven't they? Some of the lads you work with.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah. I'm just thinking about it.
Paul Jones has got his own goalkeeping academy. Neil Moss is obviously successful at Bournemouth. Alan Blaney is coaching out in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Scotty Bevan at Southampton is coaching at Birmingham now. Was at Reading, so he's at Birmingham taking their under 23s. And do you remember Andrew McNeil?
Yes. Yeah.
Andrew McNeil was a young lad we signed from Scotland. Took him from Hibernian, Hibs, I think it was. No, I think it was. He's now coaching out in China, unfortunately. But he's coaching out there. So obviously.
What about Dean Kiley? Is he
Dean
coaching?
Kiley is at Crystal Palace. Was at West Brom, so he's gone on to coach. So I like to in the box up, thinking about the mistake, writing down. I'm a great believer in writing stuff down. Of what the mistake was, how you could improve it, and then literally locking the box up, throwing away the key, and moving on really quickly.
It's a good tip for young goalkeepers, that, to be fair, isn't it?
It's something that everything
for any goalkeeper.
Yeah, I've mentioned it throughout my career. It's something that I learned from a psychologist working at school many years ago, and we would use that sort of mechanism with the kids. By the way, EBD is emotional behaviour disorders, so the kids obviously come from out of counties and stuff. So it was a good tool for them because they used to have trigger words, and we would use certain areas. So it was like, but nowadays you're giving them away.
Yeah. Have you still got the All Sport All-in-One? Dave Sanderson mentioned that one.
I have.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do.
You've still got it?
I've still got it. It's a red and black one. The All Sport one, yeah. Dave Sanderson. Is that Dave Sanderson?
Yeah, sure is, yeah.
I used to adore them. I used to train in them so much. And they were one of the most best bit of kit I could have ever had, really. Yeah, I used to like the All Sport stuff. The All Sport used to make an all white glove. Absolute all white, so just with the black eel in the middle. Or the
Pro Comfort Textile, I think it was called.
Yeah, fantastic glove. So, I've had loads of gloves, unfortunately. Adidas, I've worn Adidas. I always get told off for Adidas this, Adidas that. But, I've worn a lot of Adidas gloves over the times, the big frying pan gloves that come out.
Are you enjoying wearing ours?
They're a good glove, I must admit. I do like Negative Cut. Big fan of Negative Cut.
It's really taken off with the pros of Negative Cut because it didn't really exist, did it? Sort of 20 years ago, not really.
No, it was always roll finger or flat palm. No, certainly I do like Negative Cut. I like the colours. The colours have got to be right for me. So the orange and white ones that you produce are fantastic. I also like the black and white ones. Really good.
You said to me yesterday you quite like to see the Negative Cut in that black and white colourway.
Yeah, that's my question
classic.
is, can you produce a white glove with a negative white palm and a little bit of black on the back? That would be perfect.
We need to do that at some stage. That's a definite. They've changed so much goalkeeping gloves. I love chatting about gloves because obviously
I would invite you back in, David. I think what's happened is I've gone over an hour, and I think Instagram probably allow an hour. I can finish off because it's been an incredibly good interview, and we've had so many followers. It's been unbelievable. So if you